DanDaDan episode 10, Merge. Have you seen a cattle mutilation? This is this week's episode review reaction. Yeah, so last week's episode, was it controversial? Yes, no. I mean, according to your guys' comments, it really isn't that controversial, but like it could be a little much. That's the kind of feel that I got from it. A lot of people are just saying, no, screw you, you're wrong. like, like just get over it. This is the art. It is what it is. Listen, I think that because there are so many different cultures or so many different points of view out there that when you watch something like that, I don't necessarily think it cause for controversy, but I think it's worth talking about. And I think that's what the whole thing was. Like there was a bunch of different channels all who cover anime were calling it controversial. And I mean, like if you were to just say, yeah, a bunch of teens got naked and they were on the floor and it looked like they were having sex, just in its own sentence, I think people would be like, what? What are you watching? Now, in anime context, I guess that's not that strange. But in saying that, like, it is something that was worth talking about. And like I mentioned, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go to our video of last week's reaction and go through the comments. There's a bunch of people who commented. We even had somebody from Japan, maybe Japan, I don't know. They wrote out a whole basically a story about in Japanese, and I translated it, and they were saying that it's you got to kind of separate what you like the art from the artists or that sort of thing, like what they're trying to tell versus like how us applying our social norms in America onto their piece of art. And like I get that, you know, that's definitely something that I think that we did talk about last week's review. So, you know, go check out those comments. They're really informative. Nobody was rude or anything, so I thought that was pretty good. I liked the fact that we were able to have a conversation about the whole thing. So let's go into this next episode, episode 10. And I mean, like I said, it follows up one of the most controversial episodes that we had in the series so far. And I kind of think that what's funny is immediately following that whole thing, the principal has like a BDSM whip and is like using it on the janitor or the teacher, whatever that bald guy was. And it's just like, all right, we're gonna continue with the weirdness. Here we are. We're not afraid of what we are, and move on or keep watching. I think people are gonna keep watching. The whole little freak out that the kids have while talking about their public perception after being like naked in front of the whole school is amazing. I thought this whole conversation between Momo, Ira, and Okarun was just it was hilarious. Then you lead into Okarun doing the whole Pepe Sylvia thing where he's like pointing at the board and showing and explaining to them why the yokai are fighting off the aliens. I thought that was so cool, and like it's such a interesting theory to like sort of ground what is happening and why the aliens really just aren't stealing yokai power. So that's kind of like a fun background world building thing that they have. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of this is based off of, I mean, I know yokai are, I know a lot of the alien stuff is, but I'm sure maybe somewhere out there's myths that, you know, yokai are actually fighting aliens off, and that's all something cool that you don't really see in anime where, I mean, you do see yokai, you do see aliens. I don't think there's a story, at least what I've seen, that they're combining the two in such a fashion that DanDaDan can do, like what they're doing. I managed to shove in do in 4 different ways there, so you're welcome. Moving on, we do got Ira blaming Momo for the entire situation so that way she could explain away to all of her friends like, hey, she did this to me. It wasn't me being weird, it was them being weird. So that kind of continues the trend of her being sort of a yes girl, you know, just somebody that is, I don't know, I mean, like she just kind of does whatever whatever the popular thing is, and she just wants to maintain that level of popularity, which is very shallow of her. And the fact that Momo not only saved her life, but also is like, I mean, I'm not gonna say they're cool with each other, but they're she's trying at least to be like, hey, cordial with her, but instead, Ira is continuing to be just same old selfish Ira. But that'll change in a little bit as we find out. Momo and her friends show up and they start doing this whole detective routine. I'm sure there was something from like Detective Conan in that sort of breakdown of the story that they were going to tell everybody. And like, hey, wouldn't you know it, right after this whole thing, Ira tells all the people, hey, I was the one who was spreading all the rumors. Stop saying everything bad about Momo. So Ira has a heart. Hashtag Ira has a heart. That's what we're going with. And we see Momo and her kind of have a moment out in the back courtyard, which is interrupted by Mr. Mantis Shrimp. And we get to see his sad backstory. I thought that was so funny. His like sad music that he had going for him. And I thought that was like, it was such cliche music. And he's just crying. He's just a guy. He's just a silly old guy trying to, I don't know, save his kid. And he's just trying to get some medicine. I love that the gang brought him home and started caring for him. And it's like, man, these kids are they could be so caring and also just, I don't know if not vulnerable. What word am I looking for when you're just kind of doing whatever and you don't really have any like reference for anything that could happen. Like they're just caring kids and they're like, all right, we'll take care of this guy, even though he tried beating us up and punched us in the face a couple times. He seems like he's not that bad. He's a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy. So we find out that the mantis's the mantis's like whole reasoning that he came to Earth and why he was hired by these aliens was because his son has some debilitating disease. And I have a quote here in my notes that says, whenever he poops or pees, he loses all his blood. I want that on a pillow. I want that to be written. I want that to be on like one of those words that you see on like 40-year-old women's like walls. I want that to be on that one of those. Whenever he poops or pees, he loses all his blood. God, what a beautiful saying from the show. Okaroon immediately offers up his peen to help the guy, and Momo's like, bro, we can help him some way else. We don't need to give him your penis. We just got it back. So it's kind of funny that she is immediately like, dude, not giving up that peen. I also really love Mr. Mantis Shrimp, little purple pink polka dot PJs that he has on. He's just crying. He's like, I want to save my family. And wouldn't you know it, Granny always has some sort of idea up her sleeve, and she gives the guy milk and is like, here, drink this. And he drinks it and he's like, wow, this is energizing. This is exactly what I need. This is my blood. And milk is the answer. Apparently milk is in their blood. So they abduct a cow and they send it on with the little mantis shrimp guy. And now he's gonna go home and save his kid. So, and he also told the gang, hey, I'll give you guys any favor you need in the future. So if you need any help, give me a ring. Don't know how they share numbers intergalactically, but we'll just assume that they'll send up a signal flare and he'll be back. So this was a nice little episode. I liked it. Nothing super crazy, nothing super controversial happened. I thought the spaceship was really cool. I liked, you thought I wasn't going to mention Gigi showing up? Yeah, Gigi's here. The love square is now complete. We have Ira likes Okaroon likes Momo, and maybe Gigi likes Momo, and maybe Ira and Gigi will have something going on. I don't know, but the love square is officially here. We are gonna see how much more dysfunctional this little dysfunctional family can get. I thought there were some other little cool moments in this episode. You had Okaroon and Momo, like that little moment they had when they were still back in the classroom. I thought that was a really cute moment between the two of them. Uh, Okaroon saying he wanted to look cool for Momo for working out, and that was just such a cute little moment. And I thought that, God damn it, do I love these two? And them just looking at each other, and the little hairs falling down Momo's like eyes, and Okaroon noticing it. It's just chef's kiss on this little romance story that they also have going on. Anytime they're at the high school, I always have to point out this is peak like high school romance bullshit. Like, it is so good. I'm just enthralled by watching it. I think it's top tier writing. I just enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot, and it gives it a different dynamic from just them turning into demons and like beating up bad guys, And it's also cool that you get to see the bad guy from the last episode just be a normal dude who's trying to get some medicine for her son. So, hey, you get a little bit of everything in DanDaDan. So what did you guys think? Did you guys like this episode? Did you hate this episode? Let us know in the comments below. Like I said, we always answer each comment. So if you really like this, please leave a like, please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.